book, but I'll start with the book that has kind of like sent me on this journey of reading about the 60s and 70s because it's just so great. So the first book I finished reading is Slow Days, Fast Company, The World, the Flesh, and L.A. by Eve Babbitt. Eve Babbitt was born in Hollywood, California in 1943 and died there in 2021 at the age of 78. She was an artist and writer who first gained notoriety at the age of 20 through an iconic photo of her nude playing chess with the artist Marcel Duchamp. Her career mainly consisted of designing album covers for musical artists, but now she is most widely known for her works of fiction and semi-fictionalized memoirs about Los Angeles. She has 8 published works, the first one being Eve's Hollywood, which was published in 1974. Slow Days, Fast Company was her second book. I loved this book.
What an interesting reason that she blew up.
I know, right?
And also, what a 1960s thing. Like, 60s in the art world is just everyone standing naked in an art gallery doing something weird.
I know.
That's the 60s.
I know.
So
and, like, the thing about the photo is talked about very briefly in the book, but I, like, looked it up after, and I'm like, yeah, this is so weird. Like, this guy, fully dressed, just playing chess with a young woman nude. Like, why did that happen? But that's what she got her start, and then she became a really cool artist because of it. So I guess, you know, you win some, you lose some. But I really loved this, and while I was reading it, I was kind of like a little bit confused because I didn't know. I thought it was just like straight memoir, but a lot of her books are kind of like blurring the lines between memoir and fiction a little bit. And so this is one of those. So Eve's Hollywood is her first book, and in this book, she's kind of like talking about, oh yeah, my first book came out, and everybody was kind of like couldn't believe it because of what it's about. They couldn't believe that they let me publish that and stuff. So she does like talk about real things, but kind of in a vague kind of way. Like, she doesn't talk about the title of the book. Her name is never mentioned once in this book. Like, when people refer to her, like, she's just a nameless kind of main character, which I thought was really cool. And like, she, you know, she has names for people in the book, but they're all kind of vague. And so she's like, oh yeah, that guy who did that cool thing or whatever. And so I really like that. It's all kind of just like cool and stylish, and it's 1970s. And I really loved it though. And it's funny because I don't really care about LA as a place. Like, it's not a place that I'm like, oh wow, that's such a wonderful city that I want to travel to all the time. Like, I've been there multiple times, but it's not something I'm not interested in. But this book made me love LA. Like, this book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like, because the whole book is her just like kind of chilling out, hanging out with her friends, and just vibing in LA in the 70s. And like, that's pretty much what the whole book is. Like, nothing much really happens. It's mostly just like observations about people and about the places she goes to. And it just really puts you there. Like, it's the sort of the way that The Great Gatsby like just screams 1920s New York. Like, this screams 1970s LA. And it was so cool. And it felt so cool to be in that world for a little while. But her writing is also so good. Like, while I was reading it, I kept just being kind of blown away by the way she puts words together, and like in such a simple way. But it kind of reminded me of Chanel Miller a little bit. Know My Name, like a totally different ends of the spectrum, but like, she's so funny and like precise, and like her observational skills about like people and things is just like so sharp that when she writes about it, it's just like, whoa. Like, even if you can't relate to what she's saying, like, you fully understand what she means, kind of like. She just has such a good way of writing, and it just blew me away. So this cool. 100% has become a new favorite of mine. Like, of the year, it's one of the 2 best books I've read so far this year. And I just want more stuff like this, and so I'm on the hunt to find more of her books, but I'm also just looking for more books that have a similar kind of vibe. So if anybody has any recommendations, please do tell me.
That's so cool. I own Black Swans by her, which I think is a short story collection. So that makes me want to read that on my ongoing mission to see if I like short stories. I'd be really curious
to see what her short stories are like.
Yeah.
Because this kind of felt like short stories, but like also memoir in a way. So it was...
I'm so glad that you liked it. That's sick.
Yeah.